This is really astonishing. The latest Wikileaks Podesta hacked email concerning the Greek debt crisis. The White House asked Bill Clinton to press Prime Minister of Greece Alexis Tsipras so that he sign the catastrophic Troika IMF European Central Bank deal. Through a letter dated July 10th, 2015 to Tina Flournoy, who has been the chief of staff of Bill Clinton, John Podesta asked for the intervention of Bill Clinton in order to persuade the Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras sign a deal with Greece's creditors. It seems that the response was positive, but Clinton wanted some more information. And his first question was if the Americans should exercise pressure on Angela Merkel, the Chancellor of Germany, as well. At this point, let me break in the article that I'm reading to remind you all that Chelsea's husband had a Greek fund, a Greek development fund that his investors were investing in, betting that Greece would somehow come out of the debt crisis. And he and his investors, of course, lost loads of money. So the Clintons obviously did have some kind of benefit from trying to get involved with the Greek economy. Going back to the article, Alexis Tsipras, the Greek Prime Minister, finally signed the third moratorium memorandum, the third catastrophic memorandum for Greece, after retreating against the IMF mafia, the Brussels Bureau fascists, and the Berlin Directorate. Even though a lot of economists, international financiers, professors said that Greece should not have another memorandum and that they should not pay their debts for various reasons. So, going back to the article, it's not clear whether Bill Clinton spoke to Tsipras about this matter finally, but this short letter has a special value because it shows that this blog supports all the last years, that there is a united front of all Greece's creditors, as their first priority is to complete the brutal neoliberal experiment in Greece, an experiment in Greece concerning the New World Order, in order to expand it elsewhere around the earth, obviously. So Greece was the guinea pig for the New World Order. There may be an obvious now economic war, mostly between the US and Germany, probably due to some disagreements concerning some details of the transatlantic agreements, but this is only a phase after which the stronger multinationals and banks will survive in order to impose the new global feudalism. This means that all the tools of the neoliberal oligarchy are absolutely aligned behind the framework through which this oligarchy will prevail over people and democracy, as pointed out previously. Quote, "We have seen another bad theatrical performance by the Brussels Bureau fascists of the European financial dictatorship, the EFD, and the IMF economic hitmen in the Greek drama. The representatives of the neoliberal feudalism pretend that they have different positions concerning the unsolved puzzle of the Greek debt, while in reality they do not care at all about solving it, but only to complete the neoliberal experiment in Greece to the last detail." End quote. This letter also reveals the fact that the Americans were feeling quite insecure concerning the Greek issue. Apparently, they were trying to use every source available to make sure that Greece will stay under the Western sphere of influence. We also have to remember that in the beginning of Tsipras's prime ministry, he did have contact with Russia and Putin in order to secure investments from Russia to develop Greece. And of course, the West was not at all happy about that. Going back to the article, apparently they were trying to use every source available to make sure that Greece will stay under the Western sphere of influence. Bill Clinton's question on whether Washington was thinking to exercise some pressure on Angela Merkel, Chancellor of Germany as well, is one more indication that a part of the US elite was worried about the fact that Greece might leave the Eurozone in case that Berlin would insist on its hard line. Then things could become even worse in case that Greece would decide to approach the Sino-Russian bloc, the BRIC nations of China and Russia, etc. But the United States obviously still has to be very fearful concerning Greece and the Eurozone because of the fact that after Brexit in the end of June, and Britain wanting to leave the Eurozone, no longer being a member of the European Union, a lot of other countries in the European Union want to leave as well. They also want to hold their own referendum votes to quit the European Union. Going back to the article concerning Greece and Prime Minister Tsipras, which means that Tsipras made a very bad estimation during the negotiations. He didn't see this weakness of the neoliberal front. Instead of keeping his Minister of Finance, John Varoufakis, in order to bring more heat in the negotiations and make the Americans even more nervous, forcing them to exercise serious pressure on Berlin, he listened to the most moderate inside his party and finally surrendered to the neoliberal hyenas. And the Greek debt crisis is still continuing, going down a never-ending hole towards the quick abyss of economic catastrophe. This is on the State of the Nation. I'll leave a link below for you for this.